Hey, abundant parents, it's Leah. In this video, we're going to be talking all about how you can protect your kids from the insanity of the world and how being grounded yourself is the most important piece. And I'll be bringing an exercise in at the end of the video for you to help heal some of those emotional pains and burdens you've been carrying. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my video, please give it a like. Also, please subscribe. I do post a new video at least once a week, sometimes more. So also hit the bell. That way you'll be notified when I do. If you've been following my channel, then chances are you've heard me talking about how we impact our kids through energy, mirror neurons, and our awareness of thought. To expect your kids to learn really valuable life lessons just through your verbal instruction is not realistic because of the energy at work in our universe and through the physiology of our bodies and how our mind works. If you are new to my channel, then let's just break it down real quick. Mirror neurons are a type of neuron that translates sensory information into a motor format. Now, sensory information is our takeaways from our senses. So taste, sight, smell, hearing, and touch. We recognize these as things like the taste of an orange, the sight and visual observations of the drawing that your child just brought you, the smell of bacon cooking, the sound of a song, or that really specific sound of your child crying when they've hurt themselves. And that understanding of the difference of how velvet feels in your hands versus maybe that rough burlap sack from the pumpkin patch. So all of this sensory information is translated into action and speech, how we understand things, and of course, our emotions. So pulling our hand away when we've felt something hot, but even more so emotional mirroring, feeling what those around us feel. And incredibly, it picks up emotional intention. So you can really see the power in honing your awareness and then your intuition. So what does all of this mean for your family living in this physical world? Now I'm gonna hit this topic right between the eyes and address that mental health here in the United States is severely under-supported. And it may be that same way in other countries as well. I'm just not knowledgeable on that, so I'm not going to speak to that. So first, let's just look at some statistics, some numbers, and some research, because it's really important that you know that you're not alone. Whether you are dealing with your own suffering, your own struggles with mental health, or you're dealing with others that struggle with mental health. According to a study published by the American Psychiatric Association, the United States has the highest incidence of personality disorders, only outnumbered by Colombia. The United States is ranked as the third highest incidences of anxiety and depression. And according to the World Health Organization, there are only 13 psychiatrists for every 100,000 people in the US. Now, I will link the articles that I found and used for this video down in the description, but definitely do your research and check out the validity of all of these kinds of things yourself. I don't think that you can look at all of this information, all of these numbers, and not see how they could be related. However, you have the power to rise above this. What you lack are the tools. But you are here watching videos like mine, and I can tell you that there are tools out there that you can learn to help support yourself. It's also scary to hear all of these numbers and think about raising your children in a world like this. And of course, the best way to support your kids is by looking out for numero uno, which is actually the least selfish act that you can do. By really supporting yourself and allowing yourself to be a grounded, conscious parent, it is the best way to support your child. And I will talk about that a little bit more later in the video. There are actually quite a lot of things you can do to help support your kids in this world full of bullies, both pint size and also adult size, people with little or no awareness of self, and people suffering with undiagnosed mental health disorders. So first, show your child that what they have to say is valid and that they are respected. I know this may seem like a no-brainer, but when your child is out in the world, they're not always feeling validated or respected or heard. And sometimes as parents, we inadvertently give our children messages that we don't intend. When I first pick my kids up from either school or maybe a long co-parenting week, They have about a million things each to say to me. During that initial window of seeing them for the first time, either over the course of a day or a week, they have a lot of things they want to say and they really want to be heard. And there's this tendency to talk over one another. Being deliberate in how I really slice up that pie of parental presence has been key. And I moderate the first half hour of our time together. First, one child shares, and then the second. If one child is interrupted, we stop, and I explain that I'm going to allow child number one to finish, and then child number two will have a chance to share. This deliberate time really allows for them to trust that they are being heard, that they are recognized in their desire to be heard, and that they can trust that they will continue to be heard. At first, this method felt really inorganic. It felt really unnatural. It felt really forced. But my children are much calmer now in the first moments after I've picked them up. And it's really energetically set the stage for the whole rest of our day. Was this strategically moderated time with my kids always the way that it was? No. As parents, sometimes we're still trying to tie up those loose ends from our day as we're picking up our kids. We're answering those last emails. We're getting off the phone from the last of our work calls. Or as stay-at-home parents, we're still on hold. We've been on hold with the credit card company or the doctor's office. And after being on hold for 30 minutes, we don't dare hang up now. But when you give your kids that 100% undivided attention, they understand that you are as excited to see them as they are to see you. And interestingly, after I give them that initial undivided time, they very easily allow me to then attend to the tasks that I wasn't able to complete during the time I was away from them. And honestly, I can't think of many times that something couldn't wait a half an hour for me to attend to my kids and then come back to it. I also give my kids 30 minutes of one-on-one time over the course of the day. Now, at first, this was happening very haphazardly, but after reading an article, or I should say several articles with Hand-in-Hand Parenting, I love their site, follow them if you have the opportunity. But after reading about this intentional 30 minutes of time one-on-one with your children, each child individually, it completely shifts your parenting dynamic with them in a really positive way. Like any new routine, it can be really difficult at first to make it happen, but over time, your children will begin to appreciate their own time with you and then respect their siblings' time with you. And for both of these times, whether in the car after pickup or that 30 minutes of one-on-one time, it is imperative that you are 100% present. No checking your phone, even if you hear it buzz, no folding laundry while you're having this time, no side tasks, no side reading. Now, I'll be honest, I still really struggle with that pretend play with my youngest daughter. It hasn't been easy to settle into switching my adult brain off and just sitting down and being that pretend merkitten or unicorn. But like anything, through practicing pretend play with her, it's been easier and easier to do those improv scripts of pretend play with her, and she almost barely ever rescripts me now. The second thing that you can do is to teach them compassionate observation or compassionate judgment, and then also boundaries. And this means really helping your child and guiding them to observe things, but doing it through the lens of love, doing it with that gentle, compassionate view. For example, a child may come home and say that their friend was mean to them. So you would guide them to look at the history of the friendship. Is that friend always mean? Was that friend just mean today? If that friend was just mean today, then maybe that friend is just having a really bad day. And then taking it a step further. Did you play a role in that friend feeling bad? Teaching them this compassionate observation helps them to look and see, when my friend doesn't feel good, they don't act as kind as I know they can be. So it helps your child to understand the dynamics between friends, the dynamics of human nature. It also helps them to take responsibility for the role that they may play in the feelings of others. And if your child made a mistake, it's a great time to teach them compassionate observation about themselves, remembering that through our mistakes, we are always learning and growing, and that they still have a chance to make it right with their friend. But let's talk about that boundary piece just a little bit. Boundaries in our physical world help us establish boundaries energetically and emotionally. And then using those energetic and emotional boundaries also help us with our physical boundaries. So you can see it's just a cycle where one boundary leads to another, and it's the practice of both that really creates a firm understanding of of how we feel and what we allow into our space. I used to say that this was really important for girls, and I always knew that it was important for boys too, but after reading The Mask of Masculinity by Lewis Howes, I really had a much wider open awareness of the struggles that men and boys have as well with the conditioning of social expectations for them. And boundaries are important for all of us. Some of that is knowing what is our energy and what have we picked up from others through those mirror neurons, and being super, super aware when those are crossing over into our space, or maybe when we've caused someone else to behave in a certain way because of our energy and because they don't have those boundaries. Knowing that you can have a firm boundary around cultural labels, about societal labels, that those don't need to apply to you, and that's a boundary that you can create for yourself. And being able to say no without guilt and living your truth, all of this involves boundaries. And then third, you're gonna wanna teach them about the law of attraction. When you teach them that what we focus on, we grow, what we focus on, we attract, what we focus on, we create, they learn to start to observe that law of attraction, this universal law. They begin to observe this and see how what they are putting out into the world is coming back to them. And of course, you will be guiding them all along using their compassionate observation to see how these laws are at work in their life. Okay, so remember at the beginning of the video, I said that you were actually the most important piece of teaching your children how to survive in this crazy world. Well, let's talk about that now. It's so important for you to address your own emotional pain and to practice tools that you can really turn to when you need them in a pinch. Because of those mirror neurons that I was talking about, this is so very important, because your emotional anguish, your emotional pain is going to be mirrored by your children. Your emotional well-being is just so much more important than I could even possibly express. Practice things like meditation, EFT tapping, eating well, taking good care of your body, all of those things that really help you support your body and then in turn help you support your mental health as well. Sometimes though, we need to go way back. We have to start with a holistic approach of uncovering the bad feelings where they really started, and then meeting ourselves there. One way to do this is to recognize where you are physically containing your emotional pain in your body, and then giving it compassionate attention, and that then gives your body and mind permission to release it. I'd like to walk you through an exercise on how to do that right now. So first, I want you to label your emotional pain, and I really want you to get really specific about what that is. Labels are extremely useful in helping us realize where we need to apply some extra love and healing. So this compassionate observation that we use for our kids, it works for us too, as we begin to observe our pain and label the causes and responses. So find your emotional pain and really take yourself all the way back to the first time that you had that pain. It's possible this is something you've been carrying with yourself since childhood. Go back as far as you need to, but as you are remembering this pain, remember you are an observer looking in. You are not the victim or the child with the hurt feelings. You are merely observing. Now, this is really different than the visualizations I have you guys practice for manifesting. So we're going to not put ourselves into this scenario. We're going to keep that distance around looking in at it. So whatever you're feeling in that moment that you're observing, allow yourself to really recognize it and label it. Fear, unworthiness, and abandonment are labels that come up quite frequently with my clients. But don't use a whole slew of labels. Find just that one label that is so specifically true to this moment. Now, I want you to hold on to recognize that emotional pain, but I want you to turn your mind to your physical body. And I want you to really scan your body mentally on where you are feeling pain. So when you're remembering this emotion, you're remembering this memory, is there one place that throbs? Is there one place that has a pinching or heavy feeling? I want you to take that emotional pain that you're feeling and recognize that this physical ailment is the place where you can physically heal your hurt. This might be a slow awareness where as you scan your body and you slowly begin to release all the places that you know it's not, you may narrow down where you feel like the actual pain attached to this feeling is. And very importantly, trust your intuition here. Let go of what you think you should know or what you think is right. And even more so, let go of that self-doubt that you don't know yourself, that you don't know your body, and that this association that you're making between your emotion and the pain couldn't possibly be true. Because again, those feelings of your own doubt and unworthiness. Very oftentimes, some of us need to scan our bodies, but very oftentimes that very first spot that you thought was probably that physical pain associated with your emotional pain, more oftentimes than not, your first instinct was correct. I want you to put your hand on the part of your body where you're experiencing the physical pain that you are associating with your emotional pain. For me, I oftentimes have pain in my shoulder, so I'm going to put my hand right here on this pain because I know that this is the point on my body when I'm experiencing a very specific stress in my life. This is the place that becomes painful. So I've got my hand on my shoulder where I experience the physical outlet of my emotional pain. I want you to say, I feel this pain, I honor this pain, and it's helping me to heal. Take a deep breath in, hold at the top. Now here's the toughest part. It's time to accept responsibility for the role that we played in this pain. Yep, even if you were a teeny tiny child. Recognize the role that your perspective and experience played in allowing you to really hold on to this hurt and to interpret this hurt in the way that you did. Now, even though there's a little bit of self-blame here that you're going to do with very loving compassion, but when you take responsibility for the pain in your life, you also take back your power. You're not a victim when you see the lessons and growth brought into your life by the choices you made in your journey. I want you to put your hand back on where you're feeling your physical pain. I want you to say, I honor this pain. It's growing me. Good. Now I want you to take a deep breath in, hold it, and release. Very good. Now it's time to detox the pain. You've kind of brought it all to the surface. Now it's time to release it. So you're going to use the same breathing that we were. You're going to breathe in over the count of 3 to 5. You're going to hold it at the top for just a split second, and then you're going to release for a count of 3 to 5. And you're going to find your own rhythm in that. So I'm just going to do it once with you, and then I want you to continue to do that while I walk you through the rest of the exercise. So breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Nice and easy. Find your own rhythm. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, find your own rhythm with that. And I want you to continue to breathe in what feels most comfortable and relaxing for you while I walk you through the rest of this exercise. Picture the location on your body where you're holding this pain. Now I want you to picture a loving, healing light coming from your heart and filling your entire body. And as it fills your body, it reaches that place where you've been feeling the pain, and it pushes it right out of you, right out of your body. If you believe in angels, you can picture their light actually pulling the pain out of you. Take as long as you need to this. Maybe the light slowly grows with every breath, but it's pushing the pain right out of your body, out into your surrounding areas. It's pushing that pain right out of you, pushing it out beyond your body, pushing it 3 inches away from you, pushing it 10 inches away from you, pushing it outside of your home, pushing it outside of the state, pushing it way out into the ocean. And take a deep breath in, real deep. Hold at the top. Now I want you to continue with this exercise if you feel like you need it, or if you feel like you were really able to picture the pain leaving your body. That's what's real key here for us. Sometimes it can be really helpful to take additional steps after you've done this exercise. So you can sage, you can get outside and let the fresh air hit you. You can take your socks and shoes off and walk on the bare earth to allow some grounding. And showers are also really great at continuing to detox this energy. The movement of the water creates disturbances in the water molecules and creates some really great negative ions. Now today, in the coming days, I want you to really practice your gratitude. That's actually the final step here in the healing. You're going to practice your gratitude. You're going to list 5 things every single day that you are grateful for, and you're going to find some affirmations that you really love, and you're going to post them up somewhere anywhere where you can see them regularly, you're going to verbally say them out loud to yourself. Even better if you can look yourself in the mirror while you're saying the affirmations. And you're going to repeat this as much as you can. Habits are formed in as little as 21 days, but even more so if you're able to keep them up for 60 days or longer. So continue this gratitude practice. Continue these affirmations. Thank you so much for being here today. I know your parenting time can be of the essence. If you'd like to hear more from me, I invite you to come check out the Abundant Parent Community membership. You can go to theabundantparent.com and click on the tab that says membership. Each month, I host an expert in their field, giving you tips and tools to be the best, most connected parent that you can be. In that membership, you also get a workshop from me each month, bringing you tools for self-healing, self-love, helping you connect with your kids, addressing some of the big things in your life that can really impact your parenting time with your kids. Again, thank you so much. I'm wishing you a day full of light, love, and abundance.